In October 2010, Bethesda released the next generation of their Fallout series, this one titled Fallout New Vegas. Since then, this game has been widely regarded by the community and its fans as the best Fallout game due to its extremely detailed open world, complex and interesting RPG elements, hundreds of unique and memorable characters,
Howdy there, partner.
player-made dialogue options,
That's close enough. Who are you, and what do you want with me? Sorry about the gun. You just caught me off guard, that's all.
hundreds of weapons, and interesting player-made choices.
They're all yours. I sincerely hope they work better for you than they did for me.
The story is so multi-layered that it's almost impossible to explore everything New Vegas has to offer in a single playthrough. The game caught my attention with all of the interesting, in-depth, and massive player-made choices you can face during the story, and because of those I decided to make this video. So sit back, rug up in a blanket, and enjoy this video on Fallout New Vegas. For a quick warning, this video will obviously be spoiling Fallout New Vegas, Call of Duty Cold War, and features Hitman 3 and Detroit Become Human. With that aside, let's begin. Before we begin, a summary of the story. The game takes place in 2281, 4 years after the events of Fallout 3. While transporting a package across the Mojave Desert to the city of New Vegas, what used to be Las Vegas, the courier is ambushed, robbed of the package, shot and buried in a cemetery.
Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Ultimately, the courier is dug out and recovers from their wound. You wake up in Doc Mitchell's house in Good Springs, who tells you that you were shot in the head by a man in a checkered suit, but were saved by a Securitron named Victor.
Don't mention it. I'm always ready to lend a helping hand to a stranger in need.
Asking around, you find out that the checkered suit man went towards Novak, and you start your journey there.
I didn't hear exactly, but the leader was talking about the strip. Fella wants to get there and avoid the 15, he'd have to go east. Take Highway 93 up.
Once you arrive, you speak with Manny, who asks you for a favor. He will tell you about the checkered man, and you clear out some ghouls that have taken over the rep contest site nearby.
Sure, I know him. What do you want with him? You talking about that chip? Man, I don't think he's giving it up. Well, listen, I can definitely help you find him, but I've got problems of my own. But a bunch of ghouls showed up one day and took it over. We can't get in there now.
After killing the ghouls and either finishing the Bright Brotherhood side quest or leaving it till later, you return and Manny tells you about Benny.
Okay, I'll tell you everything I know, like I promised. The guy you're looking for, Benny, he was traveling with some members from my old gang. They were going to Boulder City. It's straight up Route 93 from here. Just keep following the road north.
Once you leave, you find Victor, the Securitron that saved you in Good Springs. He informs you that he is headed to the strip and he will meet you there. When you arrive in Boulder City, you find that the gang is surrounded by the NCR. Walking into the HQ of the Great Khans,
What the hell?
you find Jessup, Benny's side man, who helped kill you. Here you learn that Benny betrayed him as well.
Yeah, about that. Don't have it. Benny stole it right before he stabbed us in the back. He's probably back at the strip by now, laughing at me.
This is where you can make a choice to either help them escape the NCR outside or kill him for what he did to you. On your way to the strip's main gate, you pass through Freeside. You then find out that you either need 2,000 caps or a passport to enter the strip. Not having either, you go to the different gangs all over Freeside asking for help and if they need jobs to be done. These gangs consist of the Kings, Followers of the Apocalypse, and the Van Graffs. By doing some quests for them, they can help you enter the Strip, by either giving you caps or a passport from the Kings.
Here you go.
After entering the Strip, Victor rolls up to you to inform that Mr. House is expecting you and that you have been given access to the Lucky 38, which is where Mr. House is located.
The place to get started is Lucky 38. See that big old tower shaped like a roulette spinner? That's where you find Mr. House, New Vegas's head honcho. And he's itching to make your acquaintance. Yeah, partner.
Heading to the tops, you run into Benny,
What in the goddamn?
who explains his reasons for what he did and what he wants to do.
It's the house edge, baby. Literally. It's what Mr. House needs to stack the odds in his favor. It's some kind of data storage device, dig? So it's the data on the chip that's platinum, not the chip itself.
Then betrays you and runs away. A Legion courier comes up to you informing that they have Benny located at the fort.
Wanted you dead, you would be dead already. Seek Caesar by way of Cottonwood Cove, south of Nelson. The Cursor Lucullus will be waiting.
Once at the fort, the game makes you choose if you want to follow Mr. House, Yes Man, or Caesar.
I want you to destroy whatever you find in there. And then I want you to come back here and tell me about it. So go to the building and take this fucking platinum chip with you. My legionaries will meet you there, with your weapons and equipment. Talk to Benny on your way out. He knows I'm going to let you decide how he dies. Maybe you want to remind him.
After this moment, you become caught up in a conflict that will determine who controls New Vegas and the Mojave Wasteland. Your first major choice starts as soon as you get control of your character, and it's one of the most important ones you'll face in the game. Your special points and traits. These lay the foundation of your character and how you want to play. Once placed, these skills cannot be changed, and for your next playthrough, you might change them or do the same skills again. It's all up to your playstyle. You could spread them evenly, or make yourself the strongest guy ever and trade off intelligence, and solve every fight with your fists, or place points into charisma and talk your way into a special bonus from missions, or even out of a war with another faction. The choice is all yours.
My coming would have saved you, set your people free in ways they cannot see. Until the day when our armies meet again, courier. I shall wait for you on the battlefield.
During your time in the Wasteland, you'll come across 4 major factions. Over the course of the game, there will be an option to side with one of them or go independent, although your choices might impact the other factions negatively or positively, resulting in vastly different outcomes. The main factions consist of the NCR, a military-like army focused on preserving the pre-war rules of government, law enforcement, and the rule of law. It also aims to restore general order to the Wasteland and overarching peace between the people, although they suffer from territorial control, loyalty, and corruption. The NCR is often criticized by its residents of the Wasteland, as well as other factions, for being imperialistic and poorly managed. Caesar's Legion is free from corruption and can easily hold their ground against attackers. They have strict rules and have no fear for other factions, so they sound like a great choice, right? Well, they are a great choice if you can look past all their brutality, slavery, use of barbaric fighting techniques, and lack for all human rights. They follow the rules and have built a society based on the Romans, and tend to act like they are above everyone else in the Wasteland due to their ideals, beliefs, and training.
Once my confederation of tribes was large enough, I crowned myself Caesar and created a single great tribe, my Legion. Utah and Colorado and all of Arizona and New Mexico are mine. We have cities of our own, but nothing compared to Vegas. Finally, my Legion will have its Rome.
Mr. House, he is the owner and is in charge of the Strip, the heart and soul of Vegas. He is also in control of the Strip's police force, which is built of Securitrons. His ideology is based on maintaining the Strip for years to come and bringing the former families on the Strip to their pre-war glory. Using his army of Securitrons to maintain oversight, his plan is to get the platinum chip from Benny, who stole it from you and killed you in the intro. Using the chip, he would upgrade all the Securitrons to Mark II status to give them massive combat effectiveness. The sole reason for this is so when the next war at Hoover Dam happens between the NCR and Legion, he can quickly remove both threats from New Vegas so he can maintain and run the Strip his way without any conflicts from either faction. And finally, Yes Man, who is a reprogrammed Securitron as Benny wanted to use him for his own gain and gain control of New Vegas. Using the Platinum Chip, he would allow Yes Man to gain control of Mr. House's army and take it for himself, getting rid of Mr. House and creating an independent Vegas, free from any type of dictatorship or faction ruler. In doing his ending, you defeat the Legion and betray the NCR, forcing them both out of the Mojave, creating a truly independent New Vegas as Benny originally wanted.
So if What the hell? No, get away from me, you goddamn TV on wheels.
Some factions or gangs will help in the Battle of Hoover Dam at the end of the game, as long as you are either a member of them or they support your main faction. The choices you make through the game allow you to choose which factions to side with and which to remove from this plane of existence. For example, the Boomers. They are a minor faction which have isolated themselves from the rest of the factions of the Wasteland, making themselves independent. They can help you in the battle, but only if you do several quests to help raise your reputation, and the way they help you in the fight is definitely worth it. During my 46-hour-long playthrough, many choices arose and actually made me think of the outcomes and how my answer will impact the rest of the game, and how I'll deal with these issues, such as when I discovered the Brotherhood of Steel. I sided with them, I did some quests to gain their trust, and then I chose to leave them be, allowing them to be part of my independent Vegas. Then informed Yes Man that they won't interfere and don't need to be removed. At that stage, Mr. House told me to get rid of the Brotherhood of Steel for his reasons.
Destroy remnants of the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel. Given the Brotherhood's fanatical views on technology, they can be counted on to oppose my regime.
This then gives me two options. Do I go back and kill the Brotherhood of Steel for Mr. House? Or do I kill Mr. House and leave the Brotherhood of Steel alone? But then, by killing Mr. House, I am then following the Yes Man quest, leading up to a result I need to be happy with. But then again, there's nothing wrong with actually getting the power armor training and then blowing them up in the self-destruct sequence. Because the Yes Man endings allow you to choose which factions to keep and which to remove.
Or, if a tribe is nasty, or going to be a problem, go ahead and exterminate it! It's whatever you want to do!
Player-made choices is when the player is forced into a situation with different outcomes, and the choices that are given to you are the ones that will either impact your character or yourself through the means of fame and reputation. These quests do not tend to impact the major story, but they do provide interesting concepts and require the player to make a choice on how the quest ends. Vault 22 is a great example of this. While traveling across the wasteland, you come across the monorail system, which is run by the NCR, in Camp McCarran. While exploring, you meet Dr. Hilden, who informs you about Vault 22 and how it has some data in its computer that will help you prevent a future food shortage. Before leaving, you chat with his assistant Angela, who tells you that someone called Keely went there and never came back, and asks if you can help find them. After talking with her, you can confront Dr. Hilden, and he will state that he has sent many people before and they haven't returned.
I'd have to consult my records. 8? 10? Your point is what? I have no evidence that they're dead. 1,000 things could have happened between here and the vault.
While exploring the vault, you realize that the vault's residents are all missing. Something doesn't feel right. While exploring the vault, you realize that the vault is completely overgrown with plants, and all the vault's residents are missing. Something definitely doesn't feel right. Reading through the terminals, you realize that an experiment went horribly wrong and spread spores all throughout the vault, transforming everybody into plant-like creatures and mutating other creatures such as mantises. While exploring for a while, you find Keely, and she asks you to help destroy the spores and delete the data, which shows what experiments led to the vault's residents become infected with this virus. You then are given a choice to either kill Keely and give the data to Hilden, knowing that this virus will be created again, or you delete it and make sure this virus can never happen again. The outcome has no impact on the story, although it provides a great way to intertwine the player's choices into a minor, shortened story.
Motley band of vault alchemists. We're with the government, for goodness sake. Have a little faith in us.
Another example is when you explore Freeside, which is located near the strip. You can find a gun store called Silver Rush. Inside, you meet Gloria Van Graaf, who, after interacting with, can give you a job as a security guard at the front door.
I already have a man outside who can show you the ropes and get you set up. His name is Simon.
During your shift, a couple of guys come up to you, and it's your choice to let them in or not.
Laser gun? Sounds like a stupid policy to me.
Good. Stick to the rules.
After letting some people in, without the proper speech checks and following the rules set to the player, the place blows up, showing that some of your choices have consequences. Although if you have the knowledge or skills and deny entry to the man who carries the bomb on him, he'll become hostile.
Hell do you suppose that was about?
Choices are implemented into every aspect of this game. In the gameplay is where it shows just how many choices there are, such as how do you want to play this game? Do you want to go in guns blazing? Do you try and sneak around? Do you try and do it passively by talking your way out of violence where possible? Or do you try and make it a challenge and kill everyone you don't like? These same gameplay mechanics appear in other video games and are executed with such a gameplay heavy focus, just like Fallout New Vegas. And one of these games is Hitman 3. Each level has so many different ways for completing it, and it's the player's choice on how to complete it. For example, in one level in the DLC expansion for Hitman 2, called The Last Resort, you're placed on an island resort, and you have to assassinate 3 targets. You can take out these targets any way you want to by poisoning them, using a garrote wire, a headshot, using a sniper, or create a double kill situation, or you can be skilled and get them all at the same time with an electrical accident. Any way you can think of, you can usually always perform your assassination that way. With these layers of choices, it offers extensive replayability, allowing you to try different ways of assassination each time. Choices in games with different outcomes equals extensive replayability, and that's what Fallout New Vegas offers. On the other spectrum, the ending of Call of Duty Cold War. It's a standard Call of Duty game, but it has choices implemented into the story, such as dialogue options which can unlock intel, which then creates another side quest for you to complete. The endings are where the player must make a major choice. You either tell the truth or lie, it's as simple as that. Each choice gives you an entirely different ending, with different cutscenes and different gameplay, and allows the player to make their own personal choice after understanding the game's story. Although it's only a good or bad ending, the player's choice is still there and has an impact on the ending of the game. Despite all I've said about the choices, the game is not as deep as Detroit Become Human. This game has entire storylines which branch off from a single decision, such as multiple endings with different characters living and dying, completely different character development and emotions, all tied to individual choices made by you, which is why Detroit Become Human is so so good, and the characters and the story and the cinematics and the level design, oh my god. Alright, I have to stop, otherwise I'm going to keep going. A video idea for another day. Back to the main topic. Speech in games is usually how characters engage with the player. In some cases it's when they say the plan out loud or their next objective. Other times it's a silent protagonist and you just get given objectives telling you what to do and other characters telling you what to do. Speech in New Vegas is such an important way of communication between you and other characters. By interacting with a character, the game gives you several dialogue options for what you can say. But unlike other games, the courier is actually a silent protagonist. Having this feature makes each speech option feel like it's you, the player, talking, and each speech option you choose feels like it was made for your character, you to say, immersing you more into this world and helps build a connection between the player and their choices. In this interaction, I already discovered the Brotherhood of Steel, and Veronica asked my opinion on them, allowing me to have a certain dialogue choice, giving me a different line of dialogue to use. The use of speech is so in-depth that most situations have multiple endings due to what speech you use, like when you track down Benny. You can ignore everything and just go talk to him. Or you can convince Swank at the front desk to get his room key and investigate it. There you can find Yes Man, and when you confront Benny, more dialogue options unlock, which allows for even more endings, all because of your choice to talk to the receptionist. This happens all throughout your playthrough. Going someplace or speaking to the right people can get you different and unique speech options which tailor to your playstyle, giving you an outcome that suits your character. Fallout New Vegas is such an expansive game, filled with engaging game mechanics, exploration with hundreds of unique choices in dialogue and quests, and contains iconic and memorable characters, but the power of choice creates this immersive experience that some modern day games can't replicate. This is a game where the player-made choices impact the story and create a memorable experience which tailors to your playstyle. Because of everything I've listed, this game is one I really, really enjoyed. Because in Fallout New Vegas, your choices matter. Thank you so much for watching this new style of video. This video project was the biggest one I've ever done, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. If I had any information wrong or I missaid anything, please let me know in the comments. But once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.